If you're in big law and still carrying six-figure student loans, there's a good chance those loans are deciding quietly how long you're allowed to stay in this job. I see this all the time. Attorneys who want to go in-house, take a break, or start a family, but feel stuck because their loans are calling the shots. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can pay off your loans faster without giving up flexibility or paying more interest than you need to. Hey guys, I'm Joel. I'm a certified financial planner, and I help attorneys make decisions like this every day. So follow me if you want to make the most of your big law income. All right, let's get into it. The first thing you want to do is to determine your ideal payoff date. And here you want a very specific date into the future, because you're going to work backwards to figure out what the best plan is. So whether that's, I want to be able to leave big law by X date, or I want to be able to start a family by X date. Once you answer that question, you'll have two options. Either refinance with a private lender and match your loan term with your ideal repayment date, or stay with your current loans but make more aggressive payments towards the principal. Okay, let's talk about refinancing with a private lender first. If you refinance your federal student loans with a private lender, this has huge implications, so make sure you pay attention. The biggest thing is you'll lose the government protections that come with federal student loans. So for example, you'll lose the ability to go back on income-driven repayment plans if you needed to do so because maybe you lost your job or something like that. Also, all the forbearance plans or options that are available for federal student loans are not available for private lenders. So again, if you have hardship or something like that, you'll still have to pay your loans. And then lastly, forgiveness. So whether that's because you went to work for a nonprofit or a public institution and you're going for a public service loan forgiveness program, or if you, God forbid, passed away, the forgiveness programs are no longer available with the private lenders. The second thing to keep in mind when you refinance with a private lender is something that a lot of people kind of overlook. It's the fact that when you refinance, when you take out a new loan, you reset the amortization schedule, meaning that you may have a lower interest rate, but you may not pay less interest over the life of the loan. Because if you look at a schedule, earlier in the loan, you pay more interest versus very late in the loan, you pay very little interest and most towards the principal. So when you reset that table, you reset the fact that you're paying more towards the interest and less towards the principal. That's something to keep in mind when you refinance with a private lender. If it still makes sense to refinance, then you're going to want to shop around to get the best rate. So the best way to do this is to get multiple rates from different lenders. And the nice thing is it doesn't pull your credit. It's a soft credit check when you get a rate check. So you don't have to worry about your credit score getting hurt by shopping around. Personally, I like to use Juno for my clients. It's a platform that basically a brokerage platform that will shop around different rates for different lenders, and they have a purchasing power so they can get different incentives. By the way, I get no compensation for saying this. This is just a tool that I use, so I'll put it into the description below. Next, as I said earlier, you're going to want to pick the loan term that matches your repayment window. So for example, if you're a mid-level associate and you want to leave big law before making partners, so you have roughly 5 years, then you would want to pick a 5-year repayment window. And these private lenders have a lot of different options: 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, 15 years. So you should be able to match that loan term with your repayment window. But the problem with refinancing is that you're locked in to that payment. Like I said, you lose those federal benefits. So you got to make sure that that payment that you're about to lock yourself into, you can make it regardless of what happens. Now, you could always refinance again, but again, once you reset that amortization schedule, you may end up paying more interest down the road. That's why an alternative method to pay off your student loans faster is not to refinance, but rather to stay on your current loans, but being more aggressive with your extra principal payments to accelerate the payoff date. To do that, you need to use a loan calculator that will tell you how much extra you need to pay each month or each year towards the principal to pay off your loan by your desired date. So you'll want to use a loan calculator that allows you to create different scenarios, like applying additional principal payment each month or each year. I particularly like this one because number one, you can save your calculations so you can come back to them later or create different scenarios, but also it allows you to not only add extra principal payment each month, but also each year, and then schedule those years. For example, we know in Big Law that your bonus gets exponentially bigger each year. So maybe this year you want to do $10,000 worth of your bonus because you're a third year. And next year you want to do $15,000. And then the year after that, you want to do $20,000. So you can schedule that by making these one-time payments here. So what you're going to want to do is first enter your current loan information. And if you have multiple loans, like let's say at the federal level, you have 5 or 6 different loans, there's 2 options that you can go here. You can either do this calculation for each one of your loans. This is going to give you the most accurate repayment window or repayment plan. But if you want to kind of make it easier and just get a ballpark, which honestly, I think for most people, that's good enough. You kind of combine all of your loans, put it into here, and then you just do the average interest rate for your loans. And then you do the loan term. And what I like about this calculator is it also allows you to put the loan start date. So you may already be 2, 3, 4, 5 years into your loan repayment. And so you can put that there. So let's assume that your loan repayment was, you're this would be a 4th year associate. So you started repaying your loans in October of 23. So at this point, you have your monthly payment is $2,200 a month, and your loan payoff date is October 2033. So assuming a 10-year standard repayment plan at the federal level. Well, your goal is to be able to leave Big Law by 2030, by the time you're up for partnership, perhaps. So you go in here and you figure out, okay, well, this is how much I can pay extra in my budget. So maybe you'll put, okay, I can comfortably pay an extra, let's say $600 a month, starting in February 2026. Okay, that puts me at November 2031 payoff date. That's not soon enough. So maybe you say, okay, so next year when I get my bonus, I'm going to put a $10,000 payment. Okay, so that's the extra one-time pay. You could also just do extra yearly payments. So this is going to apply each year. But like I said earlier, Big Law bonuses with the lockstep model, so you can probably get that higher. So we'll say, okay, so if you do just a one-time $10,000 in February 2027, where does that put you? June 2031. Okay, so still too much. So let's start by applying, let's say $15,000 in February 2028. Let's see how that works. December 2030. Okay, we're about 12 months out. So what about a $20,000 payment in February of 2029? April 2030. What if we did $650 a month instead of $600? March 2030. What about $700 a month? February 2030. Close enough, right? So we know that by paying an extra $700 a month and scheduling a $10,000 one-time payment when you get your bonus in February 27, $15,000 in February 28, and $20,000 in February 2029, that you'll be basically paying off your loans by the start of 2030. So that's how you want to use a calculator like this to figure out how much extra you need to pay each month and each year. And then lastly, you'll be able to see the impact that this has on the total interest paid. So here you can see the total interest saved due to the extra payment is roughly $19,000. You could also see the total interest paid as a result of this plan is $47,126. So you can use these numbers when you compare to the refinancing option. Once you've calculated both options, now you want to compare them side by side. So let's say your refi loan is a 5-pay loan, and you'll pay a total of $17,000 in interest over the life of the loan, for example. And you compare that to your strategy of repaying your current loans faster by making additional principal payments. And let's say that option or that scenario yields another $18,000 or $19,000 of interest. So there's about a $2,000 difference between the two options. At that point, your decision is, is the interest savings worth losing the flexibility of staying on your current loan? That's really what it comes down to. I'll leave you with this, guys. Paying off your student loans faster is a great goal, but doing it the wrong way could quietly cost you tens of thousands of dollars in extra interest and lock you into a decision that you didn't mean to make. If you're not 100% sure on which option is right for your situation, you can schedule a free introductory call with the link in the description below. We'll make sure you're on the right path before you commit to anything. Thanks for watching.